a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
The bits.
Oh fuck! How does this podcast start again? I have not done this podcast in
This
like
is why I bring
2 or
up the
3
notes
weeks.
every time.
What fucking notes?
We have a notes page
Yeah,
where I write the intro.
Shit. Okay, since you have the fucking notes and you know what the notes are, you fucking introduced this podcast.
Welcome to the Bits, hosted by your favorite jam buds, Charlie.
And Robert.
Hey, Robert, how you been?
I've been good. Our fans will like last week, Robert and Charlie, because last week Robert and Charlie were thinking that episode was going to get uploaded on a regular time, but then I moved and now I'm in my new space.
Hey,
I'm a big kid now. I live in an apartment all by myself.
I'm a big kid now.
There's like only 2% chance that a serial killer will come into my house and kill me.
2%.
2%. I moved here because it is a boring nothing neighborhood near a school. Like the previous tenants were a couple, and like I talked to the girlfriend, and she's like, "Oh yeah, no, it's a pretty safe neighborhood." I go walking my dog by myself all the time, and I'm like, "Okay, cool, that's all I need."
Yeah, no, that's good.
The
You're old.
hardest thing about living by myself, but the hardest thing about living on your own, like out of your parents'
The
house or
hardest thing
whatever.
about living.
The hardest thing about living, honest to God, no. The hardest thing about living is that I need to feed myself 2 to 3 times a day,
Yeah,
and I often go the whole day without eating, and then I'm like, "Wow, I'm hungry. What time is it? 8 o'clock. I haven't eaten the whole day."
I cannot relate to this scenario.
Yeah, because you still live with your parents. Oh,
No, because if I don't feed myself, I want to vomit.
mm,
I get so hungry that I feel the need to vomit.
well, don't vomit on your way to space, because today's episode is Space Race Season 1, Episode 28. It premiered October 9th, 2014. I titled the recording Space Race, aka the episode where Pearl tries to kill both Steven and herself.
I love that. I love that for us.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. You're so right. This episode is just trauma. Like a lot of the show is just trauma, but like Pearl, what are you doing to Greg?
Giving him gray hairs out the wazoo.
Literally, he should have lost the rest of his hair in this episode.
It would have been pretty funny if, like, throughout the course of the episode, more and more hair fell out due to stress until he was bald.
Yeah. You just
I,
like ended the episode bald and that was
I
it.
feel like I've seen an episode of a cartoon that did something similar to that.
No, that sounds about right. That sounds like it would happen.
Yeah, I mean, cartoons have been in existence as we know them for what, like 80 years or something like that. One of them has bound to have done that at some point.
Yeah. No. You right.
Right. Hey, Charlie,
Hey Robert.
Mix Postman, did you bring the post?
Hey, Mr. Postman, bring me a post. Bring me the post I love the most.
Damn, Charlie, I was nice and courteous and used gender neutral suffix. That's what that's called, right?
Prefix. Right?
The English language is made up. All
I
languages
don't
are made up.
know.
Who cares? But
Honorific.
honorific. I use the correct honorific, and you're just like, no, Mister. I'm like, okay,
That's how the song goes.
yeah, but I'm
We don't
talking about
change.
you.
Hey, you know what? You know what is super straight of people to do is to change pronouns in songs to make it not gay.
Technically speaking, I'm changing the pronouns in that song or the honorific
I
in that
know.
song to
I know
make it
you
more
are.
gay.
But I've never heard it happen where people change it to make it gayer. People only ever change it to make it straight.
I'm trying to think if there's here's the wonderful thing about being bi is that I will sing
Yeah, you're right.
any love song and it'll be like, "Oh, I want him to love me. I want her to love me. I want them to love me. I just want people to love me.
You want to be loved?
I want to be loved." Charlie,
You want to know what love is?
I want to know what love is. That was totally off key, but let's keep going. Charlie, what's the fucking mail?
Our mail is about an episode from a while back. It's about the desert glass in Steven's Lion. We got an email.
What
It
fucking
says
episode was that? That was like episode 14, I think.
in our schedule, let's see. Steven's Lion 10, episode 10.
Episode 10, Ben 10. Hey, I should start that Ben 10 podcast with Ethan.
You know,
I have the time.
Ethan was on that episode. Ethan was on the episode Steven's Lion with us.
Oh shit. I wasn't even thinking about that.
I thought you were trying to make that reference.
I don't remember anything. So tell me the fucking mail, please.
What's your name? It starts off with Dear Podcasters, which I think is hilarious. Thank you.
Dear
Thank you.
Mr. Podcasters.
Our name is just Podcasters. And let me read this. I wanted to say that I love the show and just listened to your episode on Steven's Lion and noticed that the classic beloved segment, Who's That Gem? Is that what I should call it now?
Who's that
Like-
gem? It's like Pokemon.
Like, yeah, exactly. It's like Pokemon. For Desert Glass is absent. And I, having been a child without internet, but with a set of encyclopedias, happened to dredge up some information. Oh, why thank you. Why thank you, dear listener. I haven't been doing them for like the corrupted gems.
Because you're a terrible person.
They're not named like in most of the episodes. I find them out when we do like the trivia and we look up the wikis, and I'm like, wait a second, that gem has a name. I didn't realize that. So I just like decided not to do it.
Somebody also helpfully pointed out to us that it might be a little better to, instead of just read through the trivia and the cultural references, the continuity. All right, I'm sorry. What's the word, Charlie? What's that word again?
Continuity?
Hate you. That we should paraphrase. And you know what? Maybe that's correct. Hey, new half of a season. We are getting into the nitty gritty of Steven Universe now. We can actually pretend like we're a good podcast. We're a good podcast though.
Maybe are we? It could possibly be.
Here's my philosophy is that because I'm doing a project that I'm still keeping semi-secret, even though I've talked about it on other platforms. I'm doing a project, and the first and foremost thing that I'm conscientious about, that's not the word, is that I'm having fun. That I want to do it because it's fun to me and it's entertaining for me and it flexes my creativity. If it did none of that, if I felt like I was bored or doing a job or something, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I think we have a good podcast because we have fun shooting the shit for like half an hour at a time.
Yeah, or more,
depending on a guest.
Usually
God,
more.
God help me the next time Juice comes on this podcast. It's gonna be like a 3-hour podcast. We
love you, Juice.
Our next upcoming guest, spoilers, is Sam. So that's gonna be my first time recording with Sam. That's not content and capable.
Yeah, I'm hoping that that'll be a fun time. Sam, who's never watched Steven Universe, is supposedly listening in on the episodes, even though we spoil shit like all the time.
Sam, if you hear this episode, we will have probably recorded with you by the time you listen to this episode. But if you listen to this episode in the, let's see, I want to make it a public thing. In the damn memes section of the Day 6 Media server, tag me and post a Spider-Man meme.
Oh my god. All right, I'm gonna finish.
That's the task. Oh yeah, so yeah, finish the email.
Let me finish this email. They're telling us about desert glass. So glass, by definition, is not a crystal. Its molecules are unordered, and its structure is not uniform, and it's less dense and hard than most gems. The only difference between quartz and glass is the structure, not the material. It's basically in between being a chaotic liquid and an orderly crystal. And that's reflected in Pearl perceiving their creations as terrifying, eldritch, nightmare gemkind was not meant to know. Obsidian is also a glass, but a bit more crystalline, which I think is important for later. Desert glass in this episode, I think, is based on Libyan desert glass from the Sahara. Is transparent and green and not certain how it was formed, possibly by heat, impact, or radiation from a meteor or comet or something. In the real world, glass is everywhere in every building and a lot cheaper than any kind of gemstone. So my guess on where the diamonds hierarchy they are is probably low, and I think there's an interesting question of what materials besides pearl, glass, and the pebbles in diamond days are under the giant umbrella of inorganic life that the diamonds are imposing their vision of perfection on. This is this is so detailed. My dude, you've thought about this so much. I applaud you.
You've thought about this show more than I have. Would you like to come on this podcast?
They said sorry if this is long. Love your show. Yours truly, Verdigris. Thank you so much, Verdigris. And they sent us some citations to Wikipedia and an article on what is glass. Thank you so much, bro.
What is glass? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. No more. Please don't stab me. Ah, okay. The episode fuck me. What's this one called? Space Race. Space Race opens up with the
Fuck you. What?
that's not your job. Space Race opens up with the crystal gems arriving at a field with a bunch of damaged warp pads, and they're checking each one to make sure they're not active.
This iconic opening, we have the crying breakfast friends stickers. I need these stickers.
I'm pretty sure if you looked on Etsy, you can find. I'm gonna look on Etsy real quick.
I mean, you're right, but like Cartoon Network, why did you not make these stickers officially?
Cartoon Network making official merch for their shows.
Right? Who does that?
What's this shit called? Something breakfast?
Crying breakfast friends. I know I got Pearl Point stickers off of Etsy once,
Crying breakfast. Yep, they're there.
but like, come on.
You can get the crying waffle, a singular crying waffle for $4.
That's it? That's the best you could do?
It ships from Pennsylvania. I could probably go and get it and it'll be cheaper.
I mean, thank you for your service, Etsy user who made this, but like
Oh, I need to buy this. This is a hoodie that says Silly Goose University.
that, you know what? You do need that. You absolutely do.
Oh, and they sell it in tank top. I'm gonna live my hot girl summer and wear a Silly Goose University tank top.
So, we're at the warpads. The gems are explaining that like these warpads are special. They go to different planets. They connect to the home world. Cause didn't we first learn like in the ocean gem and mirror gem stuff that like gems are aliens? Is that not where we like first technically learned it?
Wait, which episode?
The mid-season finale, like with Lapis.
I suppose so, but now they're building upon that where they're like, yeah,
Yeah.
so these warp pads can go to other planets and to the home world, or could.
They could.
They could.
But now they're broken.
They used to. They're broken like me.
Oh. You're not broken.
They've all been inactive for thousands of years, and as they explain this, Pearl gets really fucking sad because she's stuck on Earth forever, and Steven's trying to comfort her to be like, yeah, but you're stuck on Earth forever with me. And it's like, Steven, there are implications. You are the reincarnation of her dead wife.
Dead girlfriend? Wife? Unclear. Master?
Why couldn't Greg, Rose, and Pearl have been a throuple? Why not?
Because Pearl and Greg didn't get along.
Do you need, what is it called? Because I think throuple is if all three are dating each other. What's it called when two people are dating one person? Is that an angle?
Line poly? Isn't that just line poly? No?
So you know how conservatives get really annoyed when the LGBT makes up new phrases? I swear to God, I'm experiencing that a little bit right now with the words line poly. Not because of polyamory in general. Polyamory is great. If that's your vibe, go for it. It's just the words line poly do not sit in my brain
Well,
correctly.
it's because it's a line and they don't
What do you
connect.
call when two people date one?
I feel like Google's gonna say cheating. Um,
Types of polyamorous relationships. Let's go. It's called a V. When one person is in a relationship or dating two people who are not involved with each other, that's a V polyamorous relationship. To give you an example, Brad is dating both Sarah and Sally, but Sarah and Sally are not dating or sexually involved with each other. Only Brad. Why Brad? Brad is such a name.
to be fair, I don't know all of the terms.
Neither
I
do
am not
I.
poly myself, so I just do my best to try to educate. But that's just something I thought somebody said.
I also do my best to educate, but sometimes I hear words and I'm like, good for you, live your life. That those words in that order don't sit well in my brain for some reason.
Okay, but is polycule not like the best?
Polycule is a great fucking word. I'm thinking of like a four part square when I think of the word polycule. Like a square divided into four even sections.
Nice.
That isn't to say that a polycule is made up of four people, but when I think of the word polycule, I just think of like a cubicle. I think that's where I'm getting it. What the fuck are we
That works.
talking about?
I don't know, man. I think of a molecule, but it's like one person is dating a bunch of people instead. That's what it is. It's a polycule, a molecule.
God help me when I edit this and like if I figure whether or not I should edit it out or keep it in, because if I don't keep it in, this episode will be like 10 minutes long.
It's fine.
What if I kept it? What if I edited it out but then the bloopers were like 15 minutes long?
Let's talk about Steven Universe.
We were doing that and then I for some reason got really pissed off with what was the term?
Line poly.
Line
That's
poly.
probably wrong.
It
But
is.
that's what I thought somebody told
Or
me.
maybe it
So
isn't. Who cares? Here's the thing.
maybe it's an older term, and
Maybe
that's
it's an
why.
older term. You know what? Who am I to am I gay enough to really say that line poly is a weird phrase?
Are you gay enough? Robert, I'm gonna give you a gay demerit right now.
A gay merit, if you will.
A gay merit, actually.
So the next
You're
day,
welcome.
Steven is watching Crying Breakfast Friends with Greg, and Greg is like, man, I'm getting too old. I used to like cartoons.
Or maybe the cartoons are just bad. I love that Cartoon Network is calling themselves out.
Have you seen this infograph, whatever? Have you seen this little diorama going around where it's like the 5 eras of Cartoon Network where you stopped watching? And I know I'm getting old because I did not recognize a single cartoon in era 5, which is the current one.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I cannot tell you the last time I legitimately turned on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, I used to just turn it on to watch like Scooby-Doo reruns and Tom and Jerry reruns, and that was mostly it. I didn't even watch Steven Universe on Cartoon Network necessarily.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, by the way, since it's dropped and it's uploading consistently, you have a Scooby-Doo podcast now.
hey, don't I? Don't I? Actually,
Let's
do.
just podcast V with Ethan where you make a Scooby-Doo podcast with him and I make a Ben 10 podcast with him.
Yeah, remember when we mentioned that like earlier in this recording?
So yeah, Scooby-Doo podcast. We'll talk about that later. As it turns out, we wouldn't talk about it. But if you want to listen to the super cool Scooby-Doo podcast featuring Charlie and our friend Ethan, you should listen to Mysteries in the Machines, wherever you find podcasts. Back to this chaos. Right now, what we should talk about is how Steven is like, hey, Dad, let's make a spaceship for Pearl so Pearl can stop being a sad boy. And Greg is like, okay, cool. Let's use all this crap in the garage that my aunt and uncle gave me, definitely building up some kind of joke about his family being a bunch of hoarders.
Okay, Robert. So do you see the picture of the aunt and the uncle? You see that? Because I just remember seeing like multiple memes about this picture from the fan base where it was like, that's obviously just two women and one's wearing a mustache, and that they were secretly lesbians.
Greg's parents, Greg's aunt and uncle. I can see it. Why the fuck is one of them wearing an aviator cap?
Why not?
Is that an aviator cap or is that a bob?
I think it's supposed to be an aviator cap because they got goggles too. Why not?
But
Right,
like
right.
the other one also has goggles and she's not wearing an aviator cap.
I think it's supposed to be a cap because they have.
It's a butch and a femme.
I mean, later we find out that this garage sometimes has a plane in it. So like, right, and it has plane parts in here. So I would assume they're aviators. Yes, pilots. Yeah.
Yeah, because Greg does say in the episode that that his aunt and uncle had a great love for aviation, and they kept every single one of their belongings in the sheds, which also includes like the necessary parts potentially to make a spaceship. And so Greg and Steven, to say they MacGyver a spaceship is too generous. They use like essentially they use like tape, spit, gum, and crazy
Duct
glue
tape.
and duct tape.
Hey, as we learned in the last episode, duct tape is all you need.
Duct tape is all you need.
But what is their company called? Universal Space Travel. Ooh, space travel.
They're like, I know for a fucking fact there were weebs on the Steven Universe writing team. They had the perfect opportunity to make an uwu joke.
Ooh,
Die.
ooh.
Die right now.
No.
Steven brings Pearl to the barn. They try and test it out. It breaks apart because, you know, it's held together with like spit, gum, and duct tape.
Yeah.
And Pearl goes full neurodivergent and she's like, well, I mean,
Yes.
it's wrong to do it, but we do have the parts. So I mean, technically we could, but you know, never mind. But you know what?
I love Pearl when she does this though. Like this episode, Pearl didn't need to go this hard, but she's also like in her element. She's like, "Ooh, but I could build something. Would that be fun?"
Wouldn't it be fun if I
Yeah.
built something? Hey, you want to see me build something?
That like murdered herself and Steven. It's okay. But the important message of this episode is that it's okay to bail
It's okay to bail.
whenever you need to. But Pearl does not want to bail on this. This is her dream. She wants to leave the planet.
They have several montages, and the trio they use leftover parts to make a prototype. Steven, you know, tests it out, and lands, but you know, it purposely falls apart. And Greg finds out that Pearl wants to take this and Steven to space.
Yes, of course. What do you think she was here for?
Greg grounds Steven, not like punishes him, but tells him, you cannot leave the planet Earth, please and thank you.
We could always put him in the ground, right? Bury him?
I'm gonna plant me a Steven tree. Just plop him into the ground.
I'm sorry, Robert. It's just funny because I'm teaching my 3-year-olds about planting and seeds right now.
So in the middle of the night, Pearl is like, hey kid, you wanna go to space? Let's not tell your dad.
Nope. It's a quick trip. Don't worry about it, right? It's an engine check.
There's an episode of Rick and Morty where Rick essentially goes like, look, quick adventure, in and out, 20 minutes. And then it quick cuts to them like blowing up a Death Star pretty much, getting rewarded by the aliens they helped, them going back to their car and just breaking the fuck down.
Are we not going to talk about Steven's sleeping bag though?
I mean, I figured you were gonna mention it.
I mean, it's a bug.
It's a bug.
He's a bug.
He's a
He's a
snug.
cute little bug.
He's
He's a little guy.
He's as snug in a. He's as snug as a bug in a bug.
In a rug.
In a rug.
In a bug.
In a.
In a bug rug.
In a bug rug. Was he sleeping on a rug?
No, he's sleeping on top of the van. Because that's safe.
No, it's not. So Pearl starts up the ship. They start going into the sky. Greg is on the walkie-talkie being like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Pearl's like, listen, it's okay. We're gonna go. Short trip, 50 years, we'll be back.
Also, did Pearl need to steal the logo off of the van? No, she did not.
Oh, didn't she say something like, I'll put it back when we come back? Something like that?
Yeah, but it's just like, she did not need to borrow that, actually.
I also love how Greg is like, no, I'll be dead in 50 years. I'm like, how old is Greg? Question mark. He had Steven when he was like 20.
Do we need to talk about the Greg timeline again?
Greg is like in his 30s. 50 years from now, listen, if you have a good diet, exercise plenty, if there's no history of like health conditions in your family, you can easily live to see your
Greg
80s.
is 40.
Okay, so 90 is pushing it a little bit, but he can still reach 90 if yeah, no, Greg might be dead in 50 years.
Yeah. At least in Adventures in Light Distortion, he is 40 years old. So maybe he's like 39. But like 39 to 40 at this point.
Yeah. And then 50 years from now is 17 is 89 and 90.
Yeah. That is funny though that we know his exact age, I guess. In the flashbacks that we see of him, he is 22 to 26 years old. And in future he is 40, or in Steven Universe the movie and in future he is 42.
That is how aging works. Um so they keep going up in the atmosphere and the ship is destroying itself around them, and
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Steven is trying to get them to eject, but Pearl has this manic look in her eyes of such desperation and yearning to leave Earth. And honestly, I can relate so badly.
She has the gay yearning but for space.
Who here does not have the gay yearning for space?
I don't know. I don't know who wouldn't have the gay yearning for space. Like, come on. And once again, we have like we're in the atmosphere and like there's no cover on this spaceship anymore. Steven, how are you breathing? Steven, just like I asked 2 episodes ago. Steven, how can you breathe?
It's like Goku. Goku can also breathe in the upper atmosphere. I guess not breathe. At least he doesn't die in the upper atmosphere of Earth.
Yeah, cuz I feel like they were basically in the upper atmosphere and or at least like, airplane height where Steven should not be able to like breathe
The
real
thing
well.
is, listen, if you are in a plane at airplane height and the door falls off, as we learned recently that it might, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news, Charlie, but like you step on a plane, the fucking door falls off. But in theory, you can still breathe to an extent. It'll just be a lot harder because it's God, what's the science? The air is like more compressed or something.
I just feel like he shouldn't be able to like yell things to her, as easily.
What if Steven Universe's universe, the crystal gems are the equivalent of the Saiyans, so his species can breathe in the upper atmosphere?
I mean, you're probably right. He's superhuman. He's like half gem. So, he's part light,
He's
actually.
part light, which begs to the question: can he travel at half the speed of light?
Yeah, can he? I don't know. Unclear. Uh I assume we're going to talk about it in the trivia, but like there's also a lot going on with Pearl's outfit in this episode.
She looks like she's in pajamas.
I mean, it's her spacesuit. Leave her alone. But she finally bails. They're in the it's a lounge chair basically, or not a lounge chair, but like a comfy 1 seat
I,
chair
b-
in your dad.
as someone who's had to buy their own couch sofa for the first time, I know that I think that's called a love seat.
Love seat. Okay, I was like, it's a chair that you lounge in technically, but a lounge chair is something else.
It can also just be like, I think it's a recliner. It could also be that.
A recliner. You know what? I have this problem with word retrieval, Robert.
You have many
I
problems.
do. I do have many problems. I'm neurodivergent. Hi. Hello. So they don't die. They get out. They parachute away. Greg does not have a heart attack, thankfully, because he sees them blow up. He's like, please, 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 please. They survived. It's okay. It's okay.
What if they didn't survive? Imagine how fucked up that would be.
That's the end of the show. That's it.
They explode. I want to make an edit of that now. They just like it explodes and then it's just the credits.
Yep. Anyway, the episode ends. They survived and they're together. Yay!
Yep, Steven's like, you're here with me, and Pearl smiles and she's like, yeah, with you.
Yay! Hey, Robert. Where are we going? Are we going somewhere?
Crystal Temple trivia. Hey, Pearl's space uniform, you know what it has on it? It has a pink diamond.
Hey, you know what? I wonder why she's got a pink diamond on there. Could it be because of somebody
It could
that we
be
know?
called Pink Diamond that she served
Oh my
way
god, is
long
rose
ago.
quartz pink diamond?
Oh my god, is rose quartz pink
I never
diamond?
knew this. But also, like, why is it blue? Why is her suit blue?
There's
Ink.
literally a line from Breaking Bad that's like, "Why are you blue?"
Oh, I was gonna be like, it's like in Mean Girls, why are you white?
You can't just ask people why they're blue.
Exactly. But like Pearl has like all the colors of the four diamonds for some reason, and it's like a thing for her.
Foreshadowing. It's just foreshadowing.
Hey, look, did you know that the Cookie Cat theme is in this episode? It's playing on the television.
So, at one point, Greg calls Steven Mach 3 over the intercom. Mach 3
I didn't realize that.
is, for those of you who don't know, 1 Mach is how fast the speed of sound goes. So if you're going 3 Mach or Mach 3, you're going 3 times the speed of sound, which is 5,880 miles per hour.
Eee. Now I'm gonna have like the song "The Speed of Sound" stuck in my head.
Burst of fire and speed of sound.
So the closest star system, could that be Alpha Centauri? Do you think that's where she's going?
I swear to God, you talked about Alpha Centauri on OTAG at some point recently. Unless I'm losing my mind. Somebody talked about Alpha Centauri.
I don't know.
Oh God, I'm losing my mind.
When
Oh
don't
no,
I think about Alpha Centauri?
it was a joke that I said, I think in the Star Wars chat or in the Deus Ex Media Creators chat, where I'm like, Mary Clay should talk about the actual Star Wars,
Oh yeah.
pit some stars against each other, and I forget who was talking about Alpha Centauri. I think it
Yeah,
might
you
have
know,
been
the sun and Alpha Centauri just like fight it out.
you take the moon and you take the sun.
That makes sense. Why would you not think about this sun? It is the closest sun to us.
Is Alpha Centauri your Roman Empire?
Obviously. Didn't you know? I remember learning that it was the closest star in like, oh god, what book was it? It was an Andrew Clements book.
Oh
No.
fuck me! Are you Andrew Clements? Holy shit, that's a throwback.
Yeah, no, I remember learning about this when I was in like 5th grade. My favorite Andrew Clements book was The Report
The only
Card.
one I can think of is Frindle. Report Card's a good one. Frindle changed me. Frindle
Frindle
made me the
was
person I am today.
overrated to me.
Frindle is overrated, but the message of Frindle is clear. You know, do your own thing. Do your own thing, because someday you'll get through it. Call that pen a Frindle. Very occasionally, very occasionally, I will say out loud who has a Frindle, and no one knows what I'm talking
I
about.
love it. I love that for you.
Mm,
No, my favorite was The
mm.
Report Card. She was like
Report
super
Card's a good
fucking
one.
smart, but she wanted
There
to
was another
stay with
one.
the kids in her own age group, including like her best friend,
Yeah,
who wasn't super smart.
there was another. There was another one I really liked
But like
from Andrew
she knew the
Clements.
closest star. I
Oh, the other one I really liked was The Janitor's Boy.
can't remember if I read that one.
Well, you can always reread it again.
I could. I could in fact. You know what? Next podcast to start. Andrew Clements
And
children's books.
Is Andrew Clements still alive?
Is Andrew
Let's get him on
Clements
the
not
pod.
been canceled?
Oh no, he died in 2019. Rip.
Oh. Oh, I'm sorry.
He died in Maine. Fucking rip, dude.
Oh no.
He died in Baldwin, Maine at the age of 70. What the
What a
fuck?
guy.
What a guy. Hey, hey, guess what? It takes 6 hours and 9 minutes to drive there from my house.
I mean, why not? Why not?
If only we came up. The thing is that 2019 is when I first started the meme page and
Oh!
like the concept of making a podcast. So I'm like, oh, if only I started earlier. No, that's as early as I started. That's it. I would have not been able to get Andrew Clements on.
No. No, you wouldn't have.
Damn, this bitch died November 28th, 2019. What the fuck?
Damn. Now I'm just looking up Andrew Clements. Okay, nope, we're not going down this rabbit hole. Okay,
So
yeah.
Pearl asks if the local stores carry F1 single nozzle liquid fueled
Jesus
rockets,
Christ.
likely likely a reference to Rocketdyne F1 engines, which were used in the Saturn V launch vehicle during the 60s and 70s, mainly for the Apollo missions. The F1 did in fact was a single nozzle liquid fueled rocket engine.
I can't. This episode was in fact named The Space Race in the model sheets. Cool.
The Space Race.
Not just Space Race.
The-
The damn meme page.
You might be a meme page, but I am the damn meme page. The original, one might say. That's still my favorite First Doctor line, and it isn't even spoken by the official First Doctor.
Yeah, you're right.
The title of this episode is indeed an allusion to the Cold War.
What?
Which is
no way.
Yeah, no shit.
Never would have guessed that.
Mm.
In Greg's storage shed, there's an Apollo lunar module.
I
What?
You know what? Let's not question it. So, on the reference sheet, which is the character reference sheet, Pearl's tears, they're named Ghibli tears, which is an allusion to how characters in Studio Ghibli animations, films, like how characters cry.
I love that so much. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that when Pearl's like on the ship, she's playing like the keyboard because of course she is, because they're all musical. Anyway, when she's playing it, there's like a musical cue that's like a reference to the Star Tours ride in Disneyland. What? Bruh? We've made a Star Wars reference on the pod. There you go.
So you know how the experimental spacecrafts are named the Mach 2 and the Mach 3?
Mm-hmm.
That could be a reference to Speed Racer, where the main race car is called the Mach 5.
Of course it is. Everything is a reference to Speed Racer, didn't you know?
Go Speed Racer, go!
Now, you thought ooh was a reference to Uwu, but no, it's actually a reference to the land of Ooh from Adventure Time, spelled with O's, not U's.
Here's the thing. I didn't think it was a reference to Uwu. I was saying the Steven Universe team was full of fucking weebs. They could have snuck in an Uwu.
Uwu. Anyway, Rebecca Sugar also worked on that show. Did you not know that?
Holy shit, what? Rebecca Sugar just started a TikTok not too long ago, and they're semi-active on it, posting like original art concepts for characters or original concepts for their songs.
Shit.
And it's pretty fun. Oh, you didn't know that? Did you not know that Rebecca was on TikTok?
You know I don't open TikTok.
Well, now you have a reason to. Hey, at the rate that I'm gaining fame, do you think I stand a reasonable chance of being like, hey, Rebecca Sugar, you want to come on our Steven Universe podcast?
I don't know if I want Rebecca Sugar to be on my Steven Universe podcast. I love the creators of like all these medias that I cover, but I'm just like, I don't know if I want you to be in the room while I'm like saying, "Hey, isn't this weird
Rebecca
thing
wouldn't be
kind of
in the
silly?"
room with us. They
You know
would
what I
be
mean. You know what I mean.
in the room
In the
in
podcast
the
room,
room.
in the Zencaster room, if
In
you
the
will.
room. Why do you pronounce it like you're about to say Roomba? Like, I get that the word Roomba has ROOM in it, but like, no, rum is not how you fucking.
Rum?
You're almost saying Rome. You're almost
Rum?
saying Rome.
Room?
Rum?
It's a room.
Rum, rum, brum, 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 brum,
Room.
brum, 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 brum. You can make like a
ROO room.
fuck off. What is that? That's the fucking kangaroo baby from Winnie the Pooh.
Roo?
Yeah. You're just saying
Room.
rum. Charlie, where's the rum gone?
I don't know. I'm so confused on what's happening now.
So
the ADHD took over.
So
anyway, Rebecca Sugar, come on.
So the Universe Mark III, it resembles slightly a British aerospace T-1A Hawk, which is a trainer jet.
All
The
right.
difference being that the jet in this episode is a rounded cockpit, and it has a fuselage smaller than the actual T-1A. It has dual headlamps in the nose. It has collapsible wings and a rocket engine fitted in the place of the jet's vertical stabilizer. We're trying not to read word for word the fucking Wikipedia.
Can you tell?
I also I don't know shit about rocket science.
I don't. Yeah, so did you know that like this is the first time we see the galaxy warp in the entire show? It was mentioned in Mirror Gem.
This is the second time that Steven gets grounded, period. This is the first time he gets grounded by Greg. The first time was Garnet in Mirror Gem. Although technically speaking, it's a different form of grounding. Grounding here means don't leave the earth, and Garnet's grounding was like, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, and well, that was also when Amethyst was like, "I'm gonna bury you," because they didn't know what grounding meant. Oh, I can't with this. This last one because I forgot that episode. Yeah, Pearl and her reckless driving. Don't we love that he almost dies in this episode, and she almost dies in this episode. Um, oh my god. But yeah, that's referenced again in Last One Out of Beach City. Um, Pearl needs to stop almost killing Steven. She does so in this episode and in Rose's Scabbard. She needs to stop almost killing Steven. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Ah, jeez Louise. And that's the end of that. Hey, Charlie, who are we giving our Pearl point to this episode?
I mean, are we not giving it to like the bug sleeping bag?
I want to give mine to Greg, who almost had a heart attack this episode.
He's doing his best.
He's doing his best, but goddamn, this kid and these gems are gonna kill him.
They really are. Like, I'm surprised that's not how the show ends. Is just Craig having a heart attack.
Greg instantly passing the fuck out and dying instantaneously.
Yeah, you can give yours to Greg. I'm giving it to the bug sleeping bag. It's a little guy. So the question. Oh boy. I mean, is it not just like if you could go to space?
If you could go to
Like,
space, would you? And the answer is no. There's a lot of training you need to do to go to space. Even when you receive that training, your first like week in space will feel like perpetual motion sickness because like the liquid the fluid in your eyes are constantly moving and your brain has to get used to that.
if you could go to space in like in a sci-fi
Oh,
way,
if I could go to space on like a Jimmy Neutron way, absolutely.
yeah, you know,
Where I could just take like where like I could just take a day trip to Mars or something for the shits and
well,
giggles.
in
Yeah,
Jimmy Neutron,
absolutely.
just like in Steven Universe, they don't have to breathe air, so like they also don't have helmets or like glass surrounding them on their spaceships.
I mean, there is an explanation as to why.
Is there?
There is, but Carl sings loudly over the explanation.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just like they went into space and they really should have died, but it's a cartoon, so who cares? Um thank you. Thank you. But yeah, no, if there was like sci-fi reasons why going to space didn't want to make me die, um yeah, I could go to the moon. Um the moon is kind of gay.
The moon is kind of gay.
The moon is a lesbian.
The the moon
Mm.
was so in the closet and didn't want to let down Sokka's feelings that she just died and turned into the moon.
No, that's Yue specifically. Yue, okay, okay.
Where did the moon as a lesbian thing come
I
from?
don't know. Maybe Artemis.
The moon is Arrow Ace.
An Arrow Ace lesbian.
True.
Like, obviously.
I lack the critical thinking to really think about what an Arrow Ace like queer person would be and how they can still have relationships. And like that helps me to recontextualize my own relationship and like what does and doesn't constitute a relationship and like what what are the relationships we develop with the people in this silly little earth.
Yeah.
That's all about love, man. It's all about love. Love is in
Listen,
different ways.
this is why I
Um
listen to an A-Spec podcast so that I can like learn about the experiences of others and try to educate myself the best I can. You know? It's good shit, man. Anyway, listen to Sounds Fake but okay. On this podcast where we don't plug things.
all right.
Are we gonna end
I
this?
believe that I believe that's and I kind of want to wait till the hour mark just so we can release an hour pod. Fuck it. I'm editing very little out of this
I was
episode. We're gonna release an hour episode, and it's gonna be like,
Robert,
wow, the
do
bits
you not
recorded for an
do you
hour.
not truncate silence?
I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. I didn't know how to do that until about a week ago.
Bro, it helps
I
so
I
much.
manually cut out all the silence by myself.
Truncate silence is so helpful.
I need to figure out how to do that in Reaper.
You do. You really do. It's so nice. Yeah. Robert, how's your week been?
It's Tuesday, so it's still going. That's the great thing about my week is that it's still going. I just built a shelf.
I feel like it's already been a whole week. It's only Tuesday.
Oh god, what's that meme from 30 Rock? Like, man, it's been a week, hasn't it? It's only Wednesday, lemon.
It's fine. I just want to die. Just a little bit.
It's fine. I just want to die just a little bit. That's totally right. I don't know. Hey Charlie,
Hey, Robert.
if every podcast were perfect,
We wouldn't have the bits.
we really fucking wouldn't. We are the definition of a not perfect podcast, but you know what? That's okay because we're having fun.
Exactly. Bye.
Bye.
You can follow this podcast socials at The Bits SU Pod on Instagram and Tumblr. You can send a message to our Diamond line through thebitssupod@gmail.com. Be sure to give us a rating, a review, or let your friends and followers know how much you love the podcast. That really helps. Our music was written and produced by Jason Hilton. You can find him at Negative Selections on Instagram. You can follow me, Charlie, at GreenPixie12 on most platforms, and I also have an art Instagram at GreenPixieDraws.
You can find me, Robert, at the Damn Meme page on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Damn is spelled D-A-M. If you want to hear more from me, check out one of my many podcasts. I have a Once Upon a Time podcast called Entering Storybrooke, a Kim Possible podcast called That's a Sitch, and an Osman Verse podcast called The Truum Grammar Book Club.
The Bits is proud to be a part of Deus Ex Media, which features great podcasts like Skywalk Before You Run, a Star Wars podcast where your host, Mary Clay, watches Star Wars for the very first time.
On my first podcast, That's What I'm Tolkien About, I experienced the world of J.R.R. Tolkien for the first time. Now, I'm turning my attention to a galaxy far, far away. My name is Mary Clay, and I am embarking on my first ever journey through the world of Star Wars. Join me each Tuesday as I drive deeper into hyperspace and discover what this vast universe has to offer. My guests will become like Obi-Wan Kenobi as they guide me through this adventure. The sequel trilogy is good information to have because I didn't know what to refer to those movies as.
There's a sequel trilogy, and then there are 2 spin-off movies that have come out in the last 10 years.
Okay, so very similar to Shrek. Shrek had the original trilogy, and then it had some spin-offs with Puss in Boots.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly like that.
Listen to Skywalk Before You Run every Tuesday wherever podcasts are found.
Hey, fun fact, did you know you can get the 5-book box set of the Trials of Apollo on Amazon for $20 less than you can get it at other places?
Why are you looking this up, Robert?
Because I want to get the box set of Trials of Apollo.
Okay.
I'm looking at this green hat and I keep expecting a frog. Like, I should get a frog hat.
You could just put some eyes on the hat.
It would be peak non-binary of me to get a fucking frog hat.
Just put some eyes on the hat and make the hat you're wearing a frog hat.
You son of a bitch, I'm in. I still don't know where the Detective Pikachu hat is. It's in one of the
You
boxes I haven't
lost
unpacked.
it?
No, it's in one of the boxes I haven't unpacked yet. I just don't know which one.
You lost it.
And I also wanted to order a new one, but like there is such a fucking back order for the Detective Pikachu hat. It's not even funny.
I mean, can't you just get it off of like a different site or like eBay or
I
something?
have looked at different sites. They all look terrible.
I'm so sorry.
The official Pokemon Center one is the only one that actually looks good. Everything else looks fucking terrible.
Just make your own. Make
Get
new
a
one.
deer stalker cap and some Pikachu ears and just. I'll cut this out because it has nothing to do with it. I am gonna be on the newest Olympian at some point in the near future.
I know.
So I'm going to. I have the shirt that Mike sells, the Camp Regular Person shirt. I have the regular beads, and I was gonna get a regular deer stalker cap, and I was gonna be like the regular meme page or something. I wasn't doing a quirky thing. I was biting my fingernail.
No, you'd be like,
$1 million.
Yes.
Do you know where that's from?
Something.
Austin Powers.
There you go.
I interrupt this podcast to read to you a tweet that was sent to me. If Charles dies under Biden, that'll be 2 English monarchs dead during his first term. Think of what he could accomplish for Ireland if re-elected. It's because the Irish hate the English.
Yeah, I do hate the English.
Rip.
But I'm also English and Irish, so
just white. Just white all the way down.
Listen, you couldn't possibly find a more white bread person. I'm sorry.
My boyfriend might be whiter than you.
You know what? Based on what I've seen of him, I think I could believe it.
You hear that, Mac? Charlie is calling you. I'm not gonna say it.
I've at least got some Mediterranean. There's Italy in me. I got some Italian.
Hey, yo, why is Italy in you?
Italy is in me. The boot, it's in me.
Oh God! Can we talk about Steven Universe? This is a 16-minute recording, and we spent like 10 minutes of that getting through a fucking email.
Italy, step on me. Anyway.
Oh God. Italy. Oh God. I'm trying to remember. Hitalia. Wasn't Italy like?
Italy's the main character.
Isn't Italy like a wimp? Am I remembering that correctly?
He is a wimp. He wants Germany to step on him.
There we go. Oh,
I was a Hitalia fan. Just leave me alone. I'm not toxic anymore.
You were a Hitalia fan, but you weren't a Homestuck fan. I feel like those two are negative. Maybe that's why you're friends with Ray.
They were warring fandoms. I wasn't in the greater Hitalia fandom. I just had like 2 other friends who watched it. And that was it. I never cosplayed from it. I like didn't really draw fan art from it, but kind of started drawing because of it. So Hitalia. It exists.
Is there anything new about Hitalia? What's this? World Series?
I'm pretty sure it
World
still
Stars
goes on. Like, it's still going.
Jesus fucking Christ.
The episodes are 5 minutes long. Of course it's still going on.
Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my God.
I could still sing you the entire theme song.
Do not. All I really know about Obsidian is that you can make knives out of it. There's a guy on TikTok I follow. I keep saying TikTok, I think. There's a guy on TikTok that I follow. Yeah, TikTok. I sound cool and hip with the kids. Hey kids, you on that TikTok? There's a guy on TikTok who will make weapons and shit out of stones and sticks. And like 50% of the time they're like, hey, make a knife. Okay, grabs giant block of obsidian and just like breaks it apart.
Yeah. Why not? I feel like that's just about as badass as like Sokka's space sword from Avatar. Like,
I can't believe that he made a fucking space sword.
What? Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you?
No, I would. Here's the thing. I'm just shocked. Listen, with how lackluster the live action show is, I do not believe that when they get to season 3 of the live action show, they're gonna have a dedicated episode for Sokka to learn sword fighting and make his fucking meteorite sword.
If they do, the rest of the gang is gonna be doing something plot relevant at the same exact time.
It's gonna
Like,
be
it'll be
like background character-esque.
wait, what if they had like that and then the Runaway episode at the same time or something? Just like random like background shit.
Which one's the Runaway
Like
episode again?
Toph's running her schemes.
Right. Oh, okay. You know what? They can do that. That would make sense. Be done it would be done kind of poorly, but they can still do that. I have high hopes. The only expectation I have of the live action Avatar show is that when they get to season 3 and they get to the Ember Island plays thing, they get the
Yeah.
cast from the movie.
No, you're right. That'd be so funny.
That would be so funny.
The only white people allowed in the show.
Although I'm pretty sure the kid who played Ong in that movie aged out of it significantly.
You're not wrong. I think that's kind of what happens. But also you need aren't they supposed to get a woman to play Aang anyway?
Yeah, because playing Peter Pan.
Yeah, it's the Peter Pan thing.
Plant a seed tell them you can't eat watermelon seeds or else the watermelon will grow in your belly.
I'm not gonna tell them lies.
That's a fucked up
like
episode
that.
of Rugrats, by the way. If you want to watch a
It
fucked
really
up
is.
episode of Rugrats, that's the episode where
Most
I think
most of Rugrats is fucked up.
I think
Okay,
it's the one where Chucky swallows a seed. I'm pretty sure it's Chucky the one who swallows a seed.
we don't watch Rugrats. We watch Magic School Bus. Okay,
That's the Magic School Bus. Oh. And then the first episode, you have Arnold fucking taking his helmet off and be like, "I'm gonna do it." Kills himself.
remember when you made that meme? Yeah.
It's a great meme. The Hyborian giants.
Yep.
Like, that's what happens to them when they die.
Anyway.
Dave X Media.